School Board meeting. I'd like to call it to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we are going to start our evening with a presentation, a gifted presentation. Dr. Hale.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stanley. We're excited this evening to share more information regarding our gifted program, Odyssey. And so at this point, I will go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Patrick. And I will say a big thank you to Ms. Patrick and everyone here for their hard work and for us to.
So good evening. Last year we stood before you and we presented our gifted plan, and at that time we had 0 gifted teachers, and we were trying to figure out what to do. And you guys were advocates for us to be able to go find more staffing.
I have to interrupt you and just say we have lots of gifted teachers.
Oh, yes we do. Yes we do. Thank you. But we were looking for gifted resource teachers, and we're seeking 3.5 positions. And she is one of those teachers that really make a difference, and kids remember her always. So we're very, very blessed to have her. Then we have Deanne Parker. Deanne was working in 5th grade teaching at Concord Elementary, and she decided to go back and get her gift and endorsement, and so we welcome her today. She is doing a fabulous job. She has a passion for computer science and really bringing thinking to all students. She's currently working at Concord Elementary, Alta Vista Elementary, and Brookneal Elementary. And then we have Lauren Reynolds. Lauren was a former 3rd grade teacher at Leesville Road, and she has always been an advocate for all learners and had an interest in working with gifted students. She is also working towards her gift and endorsement, and she is currently working at Rustburg Elementary, Leesville Road, and Yellow Branch Elementary. And we're still looking for that right one. We have a really good mix of teachers, so we're trying to find someone who will potentially be able to bring more to the program. So our service model, because with more people, we have more opportunity, or our students have more opportunity. Our students right now are getting pulled out at least once a week in a resource class setting. In addition to that, we are able to use these bright and talented teachers to be able to help all learners in the regular classroom setting work on things like problem solving and improving thinking skills. The push into the classrooms in kindergarten through 2nd grade is what experts refer to as an early talent model, and the goal is to raise talent for all learners and help students reach that potential and be better thinkers. And then also in 3rd through 5th grade, these teachers are working alongside classroom teachers in the areas of social studies and science to be able to raise the bar and help support thinking.
What's being passed out right now is just a one-page document that summarizes the presentation. I think it's helpful to have that, and so Ms. Patrick did develop that, but did want to share that with you all.
So the early talent model, this is something that we kind of talked about last year a little bit, and it is designed to provide enrichment for all learners. It builds thinking skills, and it helps even build and identify students who might have gifts, who might traditionally have been overlooked for gifted programs. The goal, again, is to build capacity to solve problems for all learners. The handout that Dr. Hill just gave you guys actually has some outlined information about what it is, and in the future we would like to amend our local plan and actually have a board vote so that we can make those amendments and have it on our official local plan document. So this year, again, these wonderful, talented teachers came together in the summer, and we worked on trying to shape up the year. And this year, we're focusing on innovation. And the reason we settled on that theme is because we were really wanting to take and build that idea of having future innovators. One common theme across the division is allowing continuity between the gifted services and the gifted program from school to school. So each child is getting a quality program. And then again, of course, it's building those STEM skills or the problem-solving skills. In addition to those gifted services, our gifted children are also going to be exposed to field trips and have potential guest speakers come and help them be familiar with other innovative things and careers. So in secondary and in our 4th through 7, we still have other opportunities to help support gifted learners. One being the Piedmont Regional Governor's School, which is open for students in grades 4 through 7. The Summer Residential Governor's School, which is open to our high school students. And then within our secondary program, our gifted program looks like having students have access to advanced coursework. So our vision for our gifted program is to work to cultivate talent, foster innovation, and inspire excellence. Our new program provides increased student opportunities. It helps strengthen teacher collaboration and the support of working with gifted learners. It's building a pipeline for future thinkers, and then in general, it aligns with our Campbell County commitment to excellence. So thank you, board, for taking the time to hear about these updates, and we will take any questions at this time.
How many kids are doing it now?
So how many students?
At Tomahawk, there are 25 that I service. My roster right now has 47. 46.
Oh, good. Thank you. Good.
Any other questions? So this calls for a celebration, and thank you guys so much for your support. We can't wait to come back next year to even talk about how our program's evolved even more. So thank you so much.
Sorry, I do have one question. If we find our 4th teacher, where would they be? Would they be pulling?
So we determine where they're going to be based off of looking at the numbers. We try to have an even split. Holly's kind of in a unique position because she's still living a little bit of a retired life as well as teaching our students. So, but the rest of, like with Holly and Deanne, we were careful to look at the student numbers, location, trying to maximize the efficiency of where they go. But the benefits of having that additional staff will be able to free them up so they have more opportunities to provide more student opportunities in the pull-out program as well as pushing into those classrooms.
So basically, how will you measure the success of this program?
Great question. So right now we joke about building the airplane as we're flying with a little bit, looking at some best practices to work that in. But, right off the cuff, just trying to think maybe student surveys, parent surveys, measuring growth with each of the challenges and things that students are doing. We have rubrics and metrics to be able to evaluate those things. But, that's kind of what we're thinking. Thank you so much.
Do you put the gifts in different categories? How do you evaluate what they're gifted at?
So yes, and that's one of the reasons why we're kind of leaning into that talent model, because everyone has different gifts. You have your academic gifts, you have, more like CTE, types of technical skills, you have your fine arts, you have lots of things, but our gifted program in Campbell County, the pull-out program services kids who have that general intellectual ability. So we're hoping that with the push-in that we're able to kind of reach in and maximize those other gifts as well.
So do the kids know they're gifted or above average? Do they know it, or is it just a...
Well, I guess it depends on what the parent communicates to them a little bit. When they get the acceptance letter after they've been determined if they're eligible, because it's a whole lot of metrics and a whole lot of assessment that goes into that. But perhaps they know that they're identified. They do get pulled out and, away from their peers for about 30-40 minutes a week to work on enrichment. But
So
again,
you have any that don't want to come?
Do you have any that don't want to come?
We usually have students from the regular classroom ask when we're getting them next.
It's good.
Well, I certainly appreciate all the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And
Do
yeah,
you,
I think,
before you wrap it up, Scott, do you notice, do you have any field trips already planned, or have you taken any already, or not yet? But
Not yet. So we have one in the works. We are planning to take the students in November to Danville Science Center and expose them to some careers with chemical engineering, and they're working on a program that's specially designed for us to where the kids will be doing some really cool things.
So what brought you out of retirement?
Honestly, this is a really fun program to be a part of, and I am all about fun. So if it continues, it is such a treat to work, especially after working in a large class, for years and years and years, a full classroom. Now you're working in smaller doses, and the kids are so excited. It's contagious.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
It's a dream job.
yeah, that's great. All right, well, we look forward to success, and we look forward to the opportunities for our kids. As I've said before, we had to spend so much time and effort on remediation and catching kids up, as rightly we should have. And I don't think our gifted kids slipped through the cracks, but we certainly want to, Campbell County, we certainly want to offer them every opportunity. So I'm really glad we're bringing this on board.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Walsh, we have a presentation on a new elementary report card.
So as we are getting technology set with the second presentation, our next matter is about elementary report cards. And this has been a lot of hard work, a lot of effort from our teachers, from our administrators to really do what is best for kids. And so that is really the lens of how do we really make sure that we're communicating effectively with our elementary students. And tonight we're talking about K through 2. So I do love this reminder of our mission statement. It is to provide that world-class education that enables every student to choose and pursue any post K-12 endeavor. I will say, Ms. Walsh always reminds me, that's pre-K too, because we serve pre-K as well. So we really want to make sure that we are focusing on all students throughout our division. So at this time, I will have Ms. Walsh go ahead and share where we are with report cards and give you an update for K through 2.
Good evening. I know each of you guys have heard from principals because there's a lot of information behind report cards. So we had a preempt conversation with you about the in-depth, but I'm going to do an overview today. I'm really proud of the work we've done, the work our principals have done, the work our specialists have done, the work our teachers have done to get to this point in presenting to you. So with that being said, these are the areas I'd like to introduce. Is purpose. We want to go behind why are we making this change? What's the purpose behind doing all this hard work and making this change? What was the process we used all last spring? We had a process in which we would step through. What were our outcomes through that process? And then what does our implementation look like? And if you want any more details than that, I will be happy to give them to you and send you any additional information. So first, our purpose for updating report cards. First, as Dr. Hale said, we feel like what we do needs to align with our mission. We in elementary feel like we are the base at preparing our students to be able to do any post K-12 endeavor. We provide base level skills. We need to know those skills. We need to share those skills with parents, and we need to be able to inform parents how their child is doing with those base level skills. Second, this is my 16th year in Campbell County as director. 15 years have been spent with teachers asking, can we revise our report cards? Can we revise our report cards, right? Our teachers have wanted this. Can we give better information to our parents? Third, we believe we want to have effective communication with parents, but even more than that, I'm passionate, our parents deserve more information from us. They deserve the report cards that we're going to look at tonight and that we want to pilot and put in place. Our parents need to have very clear communication on the expected skills their child needs to master for that grade level to be successful, and where their child is in mastering those skills. And then lastly, we believe our children, our students deserve clarity on these are the skills you have to master. These are the most important skills. We talk a lot about, we were talking about the comprehensive plan and we were talking about student-led conferences. I think some of you guys experienced that. The way that we do student-led conferences is knowing the important skills and then be able to talk about them. Students have to know that in order to be able to lead their own conference. So those were the guiding principles of why we looked at this. Some guiding principles we took on. Our first, being able to report highlights mastery of the most essential grade level skills in each subject area. We trimmed down some places. We didn't put PE and music on the report card. We think those are very important areas. But really, when our music teachers and our PE teachers were grading, it was on behavior, not mastery of skills. We want those PE teachers and music teachers to express to teachers through newsletters and things of that nature what they're doing, because that's so important. But we kind of trimmed down what was the most important things we needed to put on here. Second, we wanted to look at mastery, not averages. We wanted to look at where a child is as mastering a skill, not, oh, you didn't do well here and you got a 70, and then you got an 80, and let's average together. We're looking at saying, where are our children? Third, like I've expressed, clarity for families. We feel like we've tried to make these report cards very parent-friendly, but at the same point express the skill that they're expected to do. And then we wanted to separate academics and habits. There is a part on our report card we kept, we think it's very important, that talks about habits and how our students are engaging with each other and how they're engaging in their work habits. But we don't feel like work habits have a place in expressing to a parent how they're doing with their alphabet. And then lastly, equity and accuracy. We're doing some work with K-2 teachers. They're doing an amazing job. I actually had a principal tell me on Friday, she said that one of her teachers, a 30-plus year teacher, said to her, in my over 30 years of teaching, this is the best work I've ever done with knowing where my students are and being able to explain it to parents. So we wanted to produce some of that equity of how we look at things. So what was our process in updating report cards? It was a long one. A couple people in this room were part of that. First, myself, the specialists, and the principals developed a first draft. We actually, during COVID, kind of did a little experimenting. During COVID, when our teachers were home and the year they came back, we actually did an additional sheet for students that were the essential skills. And teachers graded towards that. And our teachers were like, we want to keep on doing this, you know? So we experimented with that, but of course we had new standards that came out last year. So the first step was us to get together as a core group and say, what are the key skills? And then how are we going to look at them? We had lots of conversations. You're going to see we have a 1 to 4 scale, and we had conversation after conversation as a principal group. What does a 1 mean? What does a 2 mean? But we did some preliminary work, and then we put it out to leadership teams. And we said for each school, they have a leadership team. And we said for those leadership teams that encompass parents and teachers, hey, give us some feedback on that. We made some changes. And then we said, let's let every PLC, so every grade level, had the opportunity to look at these report cards and say, hey, what about this? What about that? And they gave us some really key information that made us do a lot of tweaks to the report card. And finally, our principals held parent meetings for K-2 parents, saying, hey, this is the new report card, this is our purpose behind it, give us feedback. And when we got that feedback, we made changes to it. So that was as of spring of last year, and then we spent summer kind of saying, okay, what are we gonna do now? So that being said, what did we come up with? First, we had grade level skills, which you're gonna see an example of, and if you want K1 and 2, I'll send the final of all of them, but I'll give you a look at K in just a second. But we went through and we said we want to look at advanced, and then we want to look at kids that are not where they need to be, right? And so we came with 4. 4 is advanced. This means we talk about raising the ceiling for our students and our gifted students. 4 is advanced. It means you are a clear grade level ahead. You are doing this a skill, but you're doing it at a grade level ahead, because we felt like we needed to inform parents when they were doing that significantly advanced. 3 is where we want all of our kids, hopefully. 3 is like an A on the report card. It means this student has independently mastered this grade level expectation. That's what we love all of our students. 2 means it's developing. It says with a teacher supporting that child, they're getting there. And 1 is insufficient progress at this time. We do know that we have students that are here, and they may have moved from here to here. They may have gone from knowing no sounds to knowing 4 sounds, but they're not at the mark of being able to know 13 sounds, right? So what will we do? When we put a 1 on our report card, we feel like it's our obligation then to say, hey, let me share where your student was and how far they've come. They're not there yet, but this is where they are. And then there will be cases, you'll see gray outs in our report cards of if they haven't been taught, but there will be examples for some of our students that this for some reason has not been taught. So an A when able. And you see our little note. An A proficient is the goal, and it represents solid mastery of grade level skills. Celebrate. So we can't get lost in the 4. So we do believe that teachers will use, and we're practicing this right now. And PLCs, principals, and specialists are saying, hey, let's talk about what you would use to come up with this. I keep on reminding our specialists and our teachers when I hear this, and our principals when I hear this, and I said, I truly believe our teachers last year, if you said, hey, how's Susie doing with her, I'm going to say letter sounds again. A teacher would be able to tell you how she's doing with her letter sounds, right? They would know. But it is a change. So our teachers have gotten a little stressed, right? What does this mean and how do I do it, right? We have the evidence, and what they're discovering is they have the evidence. They know this information, but they've always known it. Don't let this trip them up. But we're doing work on that. So student work, observations, and actually really clear assessments that we have, we're going to use for this 1 through 4 scale. Evidence of learning is collected throughout the grading period. So when a student masters it, okay, hey, they've mastered it. And so it will no longer be, for our old report cards, it was 9 weeks 1, 9 weeks 2, 9 weeks 3, 9 weeks 4, and then a collective grade. Well, our 4th 9 weeks, it will show where that student is with each of those skills, right? We won't need the additional, right? This is, hey, this is where you are and this is how you're growing. And then we believe a principle is reassessment and opportunities for continued growth are encouraged, right? This isn't about you failed this. This is about I need to make sure you mastered this skill. So our focus areas for the report card you're going to see in just a second are for English, phonics and spelling, writing, and comprehension. Then math, then social studies, then science, and then learning skills and work habits. For each of those areas, there's going to be room for teachers to make comments, because that's the power. So, again, I will feel free to send you the K through 2 report cards, but they pretty much look like this. This is the first sheet. You can tell this report card is more detailed and more rigorous than our former report cards. I was talking to Dr. Hale, I was like, if I was a parent in 3rd grade, I'd be like, I want that kind of report card, right? It is more detailed and more rigorous. So we give the scale, and then for each area, it gives the skills that need to be mastered. You see the gray out? That means for 9 weeks, when it is grayed out, that skill wasn't taught for that 9 weeks. But what you don't see in here is that under each, there's room for the teacher to type in a comment. The last part of this is the skills and work habits, which we then said we did an E, M, and N for, which was our traditional grading habits. So for K1 and 2, it really looks like this with different skills in it. But under each one, you see English and you see phonemic awareness skills, you see phonics and spelling skills, comprehension skills, writing, math, science, and social studies skills. So we talked about this a little bit. Of course, we know report cards go out every quarterly. We are going to have key grade level skills with 1 through 4 proficiency mark for English and math. This was the teachers actually bringing up. They're like, how do we put a 4 for social studies and science when it's content based? I'm not teaching next year's content. So for social studies and science, it will be a 1 through 3, with 3 being the goal. But that was something we hadn't thought about when we did the report cards, and teachers were like, hold up, are you telling me I need to do this? And we were like, no. Narrative comments will highlight students' strengths, progress, and next steps. And conferences and progress updates provide an ongoing communication with family. So it's a loop. So when we look at conferences coming up, and we have conferences coming up in our elementary schools this week, this is the base of it. Let me talk to you about your student and how they're doing with the base skills. This gives them the conference notes, you know, and what we talk from. When we call our parents, this is what we can call and say, let me talk to you about. I've encouraged our principals and our specialists when talking with teachers that for this rolling out, I believe they really need to talk to 2 groups well. The students that aren't achieving, that may get a 1, and we need to make sure we're communicating. Also the high level kids. Because those high level kids, it's like their parents are used to A's, and they may be getting 3s, and we need to make sure the parent knows that's great, that's awesome, right? But we've got to be communicating about how their children are doing. So the teachers will communicate with parents weekly through weekly folders, class dojo, those kind of things. Teachers will update their grade books every 4 weeks. So they will go into the grade book and for each of these skills put a 1 through 4. Again, with the heartbeat being the conversations they're having with parents. But they will update to say, hey, this is where your child is mid 9 weeks. And then new report cards will be sent to parents each 9 weeks. What have we done to support teachers? Because again, this is a change they've asked for, but it does take some difference in thinking. So we have given them a document that identifies the 9 weeks and the select skills that are taught to mastery in each 9 weeks. And we have done a document that provides example comments. For example, hey, Ashley mastered 4 letters at the beginning of the 9 weeks, and now she's mastery of 7 letters, right? She's progressing. However, we want to be at 14, right? So we've done some example comments that aren't fill in the blank, but give teachers some things to think through and use. We don't want them all on their own. And then we're coaching on using the student work to determine the scale 1 through 4. And we've been doing that this year as we walk into the school year. So we're really passionate about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we know that it's going to produce some great outcomes. So our next steps.
Yeah, so before we have some time for questions, our next steps, we are piloting this for the first 9 weeks for grades, again, K through 2. I do want to remind you all that kindergarten has already been here. So we're really talking about 1st through 2nd grade as the next group. And again, our 1st grade parents would have seen a similar approach last year when their child was a kindergartner. And we will be asking for an update for policy JOA. It was actually last updated in July of 2013, so it is in need of some updates. That's the month I joined Campbell County. So I remember that date when I returned home. But we do want to revisit our grading and student evaluation policy and make sure that that matches our practices as well as what we feel is best for kids and supports our teachers and our principals in doing this work. And just a reminder again, as this one we do have it updated. This is pre-K through 12. Our goal is to really ensure that students have the skills that they need, so they do have all of the opportunities that will continue to be available to them. Okay. And we'll be happy to do our very best to answer any questions you have.
When will we do 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
I think it was an interesting conversation. Dr. Hale was in it. We were in a room right down the hall, and we were with our principals deciding what we were going to do. And most principals wanted to do K through 5 this year. One principal had some concerns, and I stood up and said, guys, we need to master like a part of it, right? And so I would say if you ask our principals, they want to go for it next year. We do want to figure out what we need to do better. I think we're going to have to probably do even more communication with parents when we do 3, 4, and 5. But we would like to do that next year. learn some lessons, figure out what we need to do differently and how we do that, and explore 3 through 5. Again, with the thought that we truly believe this report card is more detailed and more rigorous than our standard report card.
So in our initial policy review, we'll be focused on K through 2, for this school year, and then make any necessary updates for the following school year, again, with clear communication.
And
So you'll have your second grade parents doing the new one, and third grade, they're going back to old school.
Correct.
Why don't we just move
Say-
through
say
the
that-
new?
Yeah, so you're correct. So that was actually brought up in the meeting that we had. They're going to get comfortable, right, and used to this K through 2. So then really expanding 3 through 5 to us would be our goal. We really want to do this well this school year, so that way we are prepared, and also listen to say, are there any other things that we need to be prepared for? Simply because we'll have 4 through 5th grade parents who would have seen a different report card. But it's a great point, Mr. Maddox.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions?
Can I have my report cards back?
I do know, Mr. Maddox, you brought up a great point in your conversation with Ms. Thomas Bennett with the regard to parents. What we're going to talk about at our principals meeting on Thursday is giving teachers choice on how they document that every parent received the report card, but notifying the teacher that they have. Some of our teachers use Class Dojo really well. That's a perfect way they could use it. Some may do it in a different way, right? But that is something we want to make sure we do as well, is just documenting our teachers and our parents are affirming they're communicating together well.
Thank you.
So,
You may have already said this, you say you've got a memo or something going out to explain this for parents that may not be at the conferences, so they don't get this new report card and not know what.
actually, this afternoon, I did a blurb that I'm going to ask principals to put in a newsletter. And then I would like, whatever parents don't come to the conference, our teachers reach out, do a 2-minute conversation with them. Hey, I want to talk about Ashley and how Ashley's doing. Before you get this report card, this is a conversation. That is something we've always expected for teachers and at-risk students. But I think if a parent hasn't come to a conference, how do we? Because we do know this, when we make changes, and I keep on saying this, when we make changes like this, we can communicate, and I believe in that, but it's about relationships. It's about a connection. Now we got to be careful how much, but I do see we have a September PD day coming up. We're going to do a whole day of PD in some areas. In elementary, we're not. We're going to do 4 hours of PD, and then I want to give teachers time to plan and contact parents if they hadn't come to a conference. So we're going to give that time to them, honoring our teachers for the hard work they're doing. But I agree with you, if a parent came. Now, that would be 2nd grade parents are the ones we're worried about the most, because those are the ones that saw 1st grade report cards last year. Kindergarten report cards are condensed now.
Touched on it, but you'll need to strive to push that mindset. Everybody's going to want their kid to get a 4.
I agree.
Just because 4
I agree.
is top of
Yep.
the scale.
Yep.
And we struggle with the same thing with job performance evaluations, where everybody thought they were supposed to get and exceeds requirements,
Yep.
and that's not the case. And it's just an easy trap to slide into when people are, my kid only got a 3, why didn't they get a 4? And it's, so you already mentioned that. but
I
it's
agree
just
with you,
being an
yeah.
ongoing
I agree.
thing to keep an eye on, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you may have kids that are a 4 in math, but a 3 in English.
And a 4 in a certain skill and a 3 in another skill, even within that. That's the amazing thing about this report card, I think, is it really shows, hey, where is your child on individual skills? And just because you're good in fractions and math doesn't mean you're great at numbers then sometimes, right? So that's the beauty of that.
I think you'll see more and more school divisions that go to this model, because it's more of an accurate reflection of what we're teaching and the conversations we're having about where kids are. It's just more accurate.
Yeah, I think I know the answer, but did y'all develop this? Is this like Campbell County custom report card, or did you kind of work off of something that you had seen elsewhere? kind
I've
of build
researched
from
a
that,
lot, but really it came down to a Campbell County report card, because again, we said, what do we think are the essential skills? We want a teacher's insight on it. So there was a lot of research too, what's the best practice in that? And again, as I said earlier, I kind of experimented with this during COVID, when we had time to like, hey, teachers were like, hey, what do we do? And that was a great thing, because teachers were like, this is great. still freaks, grades in itself freak them out, right? Is as a teacher, you want to have plenty of evidence, right? And what we try to encourage is have the evidence, but you don't need to have 10 pieces of evidence. Have a good piece of evidence. Where is this child with this skill? So we're excited about it. We think it will make us stronger as a collective group. So.
I'll also say a major thank you to Mr. Hudson and the technology and the data team, because there's also the behind the scenes of what this looks like within Infinite Campus of custom building this. So that has been a big help as we have been going through this process as well.
So if you have questions, if you have suggestions, please feel free to reach out.
In your
Yeah.
presentation, which included a lot of information, I wrote down something that you said, and I don't know whether you were talking about the teacher's role or the parent's role.
Okay.
You said, I need to make sure you master this skill. Now, so if you get a 2 or 1, is it the teacher see that score and say, is that who you're speaking about, the teachers?
I think we have a partnership in which together we want that child to master those skills. And as a teacher, our teachers want our students to have these skills mastered. Again, we recognize that sometimes a student in a certain grade level is not going to master the skill required of that. But it is our responsibility to say, but we've taken Susie from here to here. And I think it's something that our teachers take very seriously already. I think this report card only helps us verbalize that to a parent. Because sometimes our students aren't mastering the skills, but they've mastered 1.5 years worth of skills. They've been far behind. How do we catch them up? So for our students, and we've worked, when we look at some of our SPED students, when we look at some of our at-risk Title I students, right? Those students, we're playing the game. How are we catching you up? How are we moving you? And so this report card is going to document, you may not have mastered this skill, but you have gone from here to here. And I believe we are doing great work in that regard.
I'm sure some parents will have some questions. I mean, and like what David said, they don't realize that being proficient is what we want. That other step is just, it's there and it's great, but I don't, parents.
And that may be something we take a look at. That's doing it K through 2, it may be that we revise. I think that the concept of what we have is real, but we may revise them after K through 2. I think when you get to 3 through 5, it becomes even more people are thinking and how. So we may say, hey, we're going to revise this. We have talked about it. We want the glass ceiling. We want to raise that glass ceiling for kids. And so this is one way of showing where those students are. But you are right. I do have interesting thoughts on how does that look. Because as you spoke and you spoke to now, is we have parents saying if they don't get the highest, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
When that's not the case. 3 is where we want them all to be, and that's a huge celebration if you're there. But that may be something that we get feedback on from parents, and if we do, we'll come together as a group and we'll process and make some changes to that, and then look at 3 through 5 and say, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And we'd gladly take thoughts and suggestions.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why we want to kind of do this as a pilot to begin with. We want to roll it out there, see what kind of feedback we get, see how it goes, make any changes that we might need to make. And then we look at our policy, because right now this would not be in line with our policy. Once we feel good about it, then we revise our policy and bring it to you for an official change.
I think this goes hand in hand with our Odyssey.
It does.
It does.
We're recognizing those that are going to be the 4s, and now we're identifying them, and now we're doing something with them.
But it might not be the same kid.
No,
It's
it
not
may
going to be
not,
the same, but it might bring attention to some of them that
Yeah.
maybe need to be tested, as we've talked about doing an older identification process, right? So our kids are older for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering if that is an issue, right? If we pilot this and that becomes an issue, is it a plus sign that you add to a 3+? To where parents are like, oh, well, plus sign, not whatever. It's not the 4, right? It's not the,
Right.
because essentially that select few that get the 4 is that.
We're all
You know,
speaking
that caused
as
the difference
we're all
as
speaking
parents.
as parents.
I know.
That's
I agree.
It's good.
I mean,
And
it
we
might be
may make adaptations to
a
that.
plus
We
sign
very well
over
may
a
do
4.
that, because I
yeah.
do agree with you. If I'm a parent, I want my child to have a 4, right? The power in that, I think, is conversations and relationships, teachers, and still, we may still, even with those relationships and those conversations, still have this come out. If we do, we'll make adaptations to it, and then we'll move on. We just want to communicate well. Like you said, we may make a plus, you know? Hey, they're fine. But we do want to have clear communication. And this is about skills, and this is about us making sure we're prepping our students as we have them enter into middle school. They're well prepped, and parents clearly know what skills their student has mastered, and what skills their child hasn't mastered yet, right? Together, I think we can do great things, and I think this will take us in the next direction. We will be open and listening ears as we approach this. We know we want to do this. I think, principals in the audience would say they want this, right? The little tweaks in between, we'll figure it out. We'll listen, and we'll make some tweaks as we go forward. So feel free to reach out if you hear things or you want to give suggestions, and we'll keep on journeying together. Okay, thank you.
I wanted to say real quick that I really dig this as a parent or grandparent because some of the goals are on here, like almost like an IEP. So like I know if my child can't count up to $2, I've got something I can be working on, so I think that's awesome. But I completely concur. I'd love to see the 4 be an A. And then you said, I think it was math and science where they're not teaching anything above the 3.
Social studies and science. Yeah.
Social studies, so there should be no 4 column on the form.
That's a great, I'll see if Carol can take care of that.
Not
We're
trying
meeting
to-
tomorrow.
Just one of those little things, I'm
that's
like,
right.
okay, if the blocks
I
are.
like that. Yeah, I appreciate
Blocked
that.
out.
It's confusing.
But I think it's awesome, and yes, I was so glad too to hear, from the thanks for having the principals call too, and hear that they're on board, because something that is more work, I mean, goodness gracious, all the data they have to collect already. But, so it's great to hear that this is something they also want and appreciate, instead of just something extra they have to do. So I'm just glad to hear it.
I do
Super
appreciate,
excited.
and I think our teachers would say, this report card aligns with the work they do every week, when they come to a PLC and they're saying, where are students and how are they moving forward? This is the work at hand they're doing every week in their PLCs, so.
Kind of like doing your taxes monthly instead of annually. You already have it ready to go.
Yep,
No, it looks great. Appreciate it.
thanks for the feedback.
Nobody's asked this question, and it's Mr. Bennett back here, is he?
Of course.
Oh, I see you now, I see you. Tell me, again, the answer you gave to me when I asked you, is this more or less work on our teachers?
I don't think it's any more work, I think it's different. So every time you do something new, it's a little more challenging until you figure it out. But the time it takes to do it, I don't think it's any more time to do this than it is the grading of the old traditional one.
Okay. That was
That's awesome.
well,
And I will tell you the thing that I like best, but I think we're being open and honest to parents. And yes, everybody wants A's on everything, but if we're gonna be open and honest, we need to talk about each standard and where they're at. And that doesn't always make everyone happy, but I think if we're honest, we're doing our job better than things get hidden in the weeds sometimes.
I agree. I think one thing that Dr. Boyd and I talked about was it gives that clear picture to where, like she had said, you're not grading them for their homework completion, right? That's a task. That's a work task. That's a work habit. But so many times that gets added into their math average. That gets added into their reading average, their spelling. It's the homework part, which is irrelevant on whether or not they can master the skill, right? Just because the parent helped them complete the homework doesn't mean that they knew how to do it. Just because it was done, that makes a difference. So
true.
that was a good conversation that we had that really brought to light why it was so important to have everything written out and to be able to identify what their mastery was.
Will we be able to, will you be able to coordinate this or see how this compares to, what is it, our MAP testing, or, some of our testing should be in reality should be in alignment with this. Will you be able to track that or compare?
I think we'll be able to do some compare with that, and then I think, especially when we get to the 3 through 5, we should really be able to do some comparison, right? Because what we're chasing after is these masteries of these skills.
Right.
And then, like we've been having conversations about, and the SOLs being part of students' grades, right? The reason they're chasing after that is exactly what you just said, is when you add homework and you add in these other things that aren't part of it, it waters down the grade, right? So honestly, if we can get to 3 through 5 and do this well, it should be aligning them to their SOLs if we can figure out what he's doing. But literally, because they're changing cut scores, but it's like, hey, here's your child with skills. And if they're mastering all their skills, then there we are. So I think we definitely do some things with that.
She passed the test.
And if not, we got a problem. I mean,
Correct. We're not lying. We're not lying.
Yes.
if it's
So it
not
is to be
accurate-
more in line with those assessments with MAP, as well as the more rigorous standards that we have.
I think that would be a good thing to pay attention.
And again, the work we're doing in PLCs, when we look at map data in PLCs, when we look at our standards from last year in PLCs, it's the work we're doing, and I think to Mr. Bennett's point, right? The work we're doing is how are students doing with these fundamental skills? That's the work teachers are doing as we look at PLCs. So, and they're doing a fabulous job of it. I'm really proud of our teachers and how we turned into last year with new standards. They know their students, so gotta be complimented for that.
Awesome.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Do we have anybody asked to speak? No, okay. All right, well then we will move to approval of the August 11th minutes, and then we will also have the approval of the joint committee minutes. So I'll entertain a motion on our August minutes.
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion is second. Any corrections or comments on the minutes? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approval of the August 7th joint committee meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second.
Whoa, who seconded?
I did.
Karen.
Okay, Karen, but he ain't second, he can go to meeting.
Right.
Uh,
Do what?
We can't vote on the meeting, we can
Well,
understand.
that's
That's why I
why
seconded him.
But David seconded that also. I'm just
Got
we tell David be quiet.
trying to keep y'all out of jail.
Robert's rules, thank you. All right, do we want any comments on the meeting at all, or elaboration on
The
it?
joint, we talked
The
to y'all.
joint, yeah, we
last
talked
meeting.
last meeting, yeah, August 11th, yep.
All right, thank you. All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the bills as presented and make a motion to approve.
Motion,
Second.
Ms. Tanner, second. Any questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action items. Ms. McClanahan, acceptance of donations.
Tonight you have a list of donations for approval. Unless you have any questions on those, I ask that you approve them as presented.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Non-resident tuition.
Tonight you have a list of non-resident tuition students. I ask that you approve that as presented.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Are the numbers about what they were last year?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Are we still accepting students at Tomahawk?
Employees, children. That's pretty much it.
All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Personnel report, Ms. Hunley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The personnel report is short and sweet this month, which is a good thing. We had a couple of teaching positions that we had to fill at the very beginning of the year, which we have done. So we are fully staffed with our teachers, except for the few that I had told you that we weren't filling at the beginning of the year, but we have a plan for those. And then we have less than 10 classified positions open across the county. We have one in the works, and then I believe we'll be at 8 openings, and that's aides and custodians. So we're in really good shape to start the school year. For transportation, Dr. Ranella let me know that he's still sitting, same as last month, right at about 7 positions between full, part-time, and special ed positions. So, take place. So unless you have any other questions, I'd ask that you approve it as written.
Any questions for Ms. Hunley? And I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
You got to be fast.
I know, everybody's jumping on it tonight.
Any last comments? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hunley.
Spit it out.
Dr. Wilson?
Chairman Miller, Dr. Stanley, board members, we have 3 families requesting consideration for a religious exemption. Unless you have questions, I would recommend we approve as presented.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions on the religious exemptions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Dr. Hale, second reading of the proposed policy revisions.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. You have a much smaller list this evening of second readings. Again, they include EBBC as well as 3 policies that are related to our acceptable computer use. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but this is a second reading with a request for an action item of approval.
Any final questions on the revisions for Dr. Hale? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve the revisions.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Hale. Dr. Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At our last meeting, I brought to you a recommendation to consider changing an attendance boundary that stretches from right, really in Rustburg, right beside Rustburg Elementary School, down 24 to Callahan Road. If you're going down, if you're going down 24 towards 29, it would be all the property on the right. Right now, the corner of Callahan and 24 is going to be developed, and we feel like there's going to be a significant number of single-family homes going into that development, and we'd like to go ahead and get this attendance boundary changed before the first house is built. We did find one family that has students at the elementary school right now at Yellow Branch. I called that family and told them what we were considering and said they could continue to stay at Yellow Branch, but they would have to provide transportation. So we just think this is being proactive and a smart thing to do. I mean, if you walk outside and look at the property next to us here at the Tech Center, you see there's an awful lot of townhomes and developments going in right there, and this is just being, I think, strategic and proactive. So tonight I would ask that you approve that boundary change.
Dr. Stanley, was it a little area to the right, like right short of Crow's Haven there? They were going to, that was District for Yellow Branch?
District for Yellow Branch, right beside Rustburg Elementary
You
School.
could look across the road and see Rustburg.
I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't looked it up and
Yeah, I didn't catch that last time.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right up.
That's exactly right. It goes across the road, cracks to past the road to the building. So again, it's just one family that lives in that whole area there. And before those houses are built, it's smart to go ahead and move into Rustburg Elementary.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions for Dr. Stanley or concerns? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
annual conference, Ms. McClanahan.
Just a reminder that it's time to register for the conference. If you're going, please let us know, Tracy or myself, by the end of the week.
All right.
How about you, GW?
Can I let you know right now?
No, you,
I'm going.
All right, okay. Well, just inform Ms. McClanahan of your intentions. Dr. Stanley, report as superintendent.
Yeah, I think at our last meeting, it was the day before the first official day of school. So I just want to report that we had a great opening. The first month of school, I think, has been fantastic. A lot of principals have said it's one of the smoothest ever. We did have a few hiccups, just to be transparent and honest. Concord, they didn't have air conditioning for the first 2 weeks of school. And if you'll remember, it was hot, okay? It was pushing 85, 90 degrees. And I just want to compliment Mr. Bennett and his staff and students. I went in there, I think, during the first week on that Tuesday and said, my gosh, it's hot. And I didn't hear any complaints from them. However, we did have a couple of days where it was just too hot for them to be there in the afternoon. So we had a couple of days where we did an early dismissal, and then we had Southern Air bring in a temporary chiller on a flatbed trailer, and it's parked outside the cafeteria. And of course, as soon as we got it hooked up, the weather broke a little bit. But you know, really, Keith's leadership and the leadership of the staff there, you know, made it bearable. The kids were okay as long as the adults are okay, and they were troopers. So thank you for that. And then our modulars at Brookdale Elementary School, they were not ready when school started, but they are ready now, and they have been approved for occupancy, so we're good to go. That happened Friday afternoon. So appreciate everybody's hard work and patience for that, and I know that your fifth grade teachers are eager to get in if they're not already. And then, of course, we have the normal at Brookville High School. Monumental effort to get everything ready for school to open. But then, as you know, I mean, it's just like with everything else, it's one bump after the other. And again, I appreciate everybody's hard work there. It's progressing, but it's slow. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But really getting that building ready to open was like I say, monumental. And I appreciate everybody's efforts. All right, tonight I got 2 pieces of property I want to show you that I've been approached by the county about doing something different. So if you look at this first picture, that is Dennis Riddle Drive, and you see where it says Google down at the bottom, that's the tech center, where we are. So as you come down Dennis Riddle off of 24, the county is proposing to put a public safety building, emergency services building, right there where I've written EMS and boxed it in. And what they would like is an easement from that building to come out onto Dennis Riddle Drive. Apparently, from what I was told, VDOT won't let them put the entrance on 24. I'm not sure why, but they've asked about having an easement coming onto Dennis Riddle. So I told them that I would bring it to you tonight and kind of show you what that looks like. And then when they give me an official request, I'll bring it to you to approve. They would also like to take control of the strip of land that runs along the side of Dennis Riddle and clean out all the trees up to the corner of the tech center, which I think is a good idea. Right
It's
now,
a good sound barrier, though.
What's that?
Those trees would be a good sound barrier for them.
Well, it's a sound barrier, and it's also, when that development is finished over there, it'll be a little bit of a barrier for the lights when softball games and things like that are going on. But if you look at it, it's a lot of scraggly, just, I don't know. They're not very attractive trees that we're talking about there, so I would recommend they go ahead and take it and clean it up and make it look nice.
Did they want to replant a nicer tree?
I don't think that's in their plan at this point, but maybe at some point. Certainly something I can recommend.
So they want to clear all the trees from 24 all the way down to our building?
Correct, all along Dennis Riddle Drive.
So why wouldn't you just make that an EMS only lane?
They may choose to, that's their decision.
Yeah, I didn't know if like that was their VDOT or if it's all still in baby step right now.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
So we don't own that land,
Which land?
the actual parcel.
No, not over there where the EMS building's going. no.
Just the Dennis Riddle is
Correct.
So right where the trees are is where we
Correct.
stop.
That's right,
Cool.
Do the buses exit that road when they leave?
they do.
So how's that gonna be worked out if there's a call? They don't come in that road though, right? That's just an exit?
No, they come in that road.
Yeah.
Depends on where they come.
So they may have to widen it. They may have to do some work to make it a little more, I guess, usable for this situation.
So is it ambulatory? What are you talking, emergency services?
Yeah,
That's-
ambulance,
okay.
correct.
So are they gonna move the one from right there at Rustburg Elementary School out to this? Or
Not that I'm aware of.
They're adding because of new businesses.
Because of developments and, yeah,
residentials.
and the potential growth in this area. So,
Well, I'm
between,
not opposed, but I just see the potential for a little bit of a problem if, you know, at the beginning of the school day or at, you know, dismissal.
Well, again, they've not given me an official request yet. I thought what I would do is put it on your radar, okay? Between now and next month, if you've got any questions or concerns, you know, I can certainly ask them and get to the bottom of them. And then we come back with an official request from them and we'll take a vote. So that's the first. The second one is on the other side of our property here. And right now, that is the Humane Society. And what the county has asked is if we would consider deeding over to them 2 acres, really where the Humane Society is now. You can see the rough sketch of what they would like for us to deed over to them so that they can begin building a new Humane Society bark.
The school board owns that property that the Humane Society is on now?
We do.
Huh.
We do. So the lines may not be exactly the same. We might have to negotiate that a little. We certainly got to keep access. That access road's got to be something that we have rights to. So we might have to do an easement with the deed.
Or you could tie it into the parking lot.
We could.
So it's the same deal, further development of plans, and then we'll revisit this?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Just showing it to you. Go out there, take a look at it, and if you got any questions, let me know. And then when I have the official request, I'll bring it back. Okay?
So, I just asked Ms. Tanner, they've gone and raised all this money and all this publicity about building a new animal shelter,
Yep.
and they haven't asked us for the property.
Correct.
Does that sound a little like
Maybe they
out
didn't
of
even
work for
know.
them?
Huh?
Maybe they didn't even know.
I would say they may not have known.
Huh.
That's
Oh,
right.
they know how they pay your taxes.
I mean, I knew we were paying the water bill, but I didn't know that the whole building and everything was on our property.
I didn't either.
The only caveat I would have for both is that any type of infrastructure improvement to the roads does not fall on our budget at all. And I would
But then their
anticipate
use-
for the
their
EMS, they
use-
would need a second lane, something. So I think that should be very clear.
And I'd like to see EMS only use 24. In and out. Don't come through here,
Oh, no,
strictly off of 24.
They said VDOT would, off
No.
of
No.
24.
Yeah.
They
there's
don't
no
come,
excuse
coming
there.
29, they don't cut through Dennis Riddle to get over there. They come 24.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll take those comments back and
Steve wants to.
continue to move
Sick
forward.
person
I mean,
needs to be.
especially dismissal, yeah, that'd be a cluster.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else?
And Clay, you said they are willing to take that water tower down?
That was mentioned in a conversation today, a side conversation, if we would like that.
Thank you.
So the only other thing that I have for you is, last week I did send you out SOL scores. They were released by the state. We do plan at our next meeting in October to present those scores to you, along with the new accountability and support framework, and show you kind of where we stand on that rating scale, and then do some, have some conversations about our comprehensive plan and where we are and what we're doing about it. Okay, so we're gonna bundle all that up for you next month.
Can we have hard copies of those?
Scores?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me just go back to the dog thing again. Mr. Hardy, if you do keep doing so great over here, we need to expand this place. That property expands on right or wrong. I mean, do you have any concerns about limiting your ability to grow this place, or?
Well, I think it's the board's place to.
I know that, I know that.
If you were asking my opinion on, what could be done, I think that you do have to look at property in the complex. Y'all were talking about county property, some things. County owns all the property on the other side of the 24, too, not just a 2-acre parcel on the corner. So just keep in mind that there's more potential for the county. That's just full disclosure. That's my job.
I mean, I think-
that I would share.
I mean, I think that's something we need to
That
keep in
doesn't
mind.
mean that I have anything against the shelter over here.
I don't either.
I would say that I have personally said to people who are with BART and all of that, that I actually see that as potential opportunity to even partner between the county and the school system for something like a small animal care class or a veterinary style class where it's an expansion of our ag programs in CTE, where you would have a supply of animals for students to work with, but yet you have people to take care of them during the day. That's just me being a creative thinker about opportunities that I've seen. So yes, either way, whether it's the land or whether it's a facility, I still think that there's opportunity either way, Mr. Jones. So I appreciate the question. I would say this, depending on format changes and things like that, one of the issues with being bound is our parking. As you know, society's more mobile than ever before. Right now, as it stands, only in the beginning part of the day, because it's with, that's when we have our second year classes and things of that nature. With our current programmatics here at the Technical Center, I do not have enough parking spaces as it is for all the students who would like to drive here. We have a waiting list of students, and I have a full parking lot in the morning. So that's one thing. It's a minor obstacle. Not everybody gets every privilege that you want, and our kids deal with it just fine. But space certainly is always a premium wherever you're at in the school complex.
Thank you, thank you.
Do we have much room behind the school?
Pardon me?
Do we have much room behind the school?
There is property behind the school, so if you look behind the school, I can't promise you I know exactly how far it goes back, but I think if you look at the GIS, it does go behind the school. There is a creek and some other things that you would have to navigate if you were doing anything behind the school, and it does, the land gets soft back there, so it's very soft. So like if we were to have a wet winter, things like that, a car could very easily get plugged back there if it were trying to drive through the backfield area.
And do we abandon some land back there or give an easement?
We gave an easement
It was an
last year
easement,
for the
yeah.
subdivision that's going in.
There's that corner, there's a corner over there.
So if we want to expand, that wouldn't interfere with, I mean, it's more on 24.
If we were going straight back, I think it would interfere.
It would.
Straight back from this building, yes, I believe it would.
I would say when the supervisors originally purchased the property across the road, I think it's roughly 25 acres across the road. The vision for that was a public safety station, and that would also include, as I have seen some sketches and things like that, which are just sketches, but that would also include fire trucks, Mr. Matt. So just, to
That's across the street.
Well,
No.
no, I've seen that for this corner.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So, to your concern with the entrance and the ability to hit 24, hit 29.
Yeah.
The Board of Supervisors looked at purchasing the property across the road to know that it had 29 access and 24 access, was certainly a reason why the board was interested in it at the time.
But VDOT nixed that potential use?
I'm not, no, that's not the case. I think the only thing that VDOT has expressed is not allowing an entrance on 24 here.
And it's probably because the driveways are so close
That
together.
probably has to do with the site distance
Yeah.
is already obligated for the community beside there. As somebody who works in the complex, I'd say, some of the concerns that the board may have discussed are very valid ones. And that also an internal road from Dennis Riddle to a neighborhood, via a public safety building could offer lots of cut-through potential, for parents and people to, get to Yellow Branch Elementary School because they would all be Yellow Branch students over there. So, as you look and think about it, those are things that have to be thought about. The board, I believe it is, coming to the planning commission next month, or at the end of this month, I believe. I have to double check on that, as far as this corner property right here beside Dennis River on 24, for a public, for public hearing.
Yeah, I'm glad that Barry asked about that because the 25 acres across the land, I mean, that's also on Anstey. So why wouldn't you just put the EMS there where you're flanked by roads instead of lock it into this little corner?
So, Mrs. Parker, that is.
I appreciate it. Just thanks for sharing. I'll look into it.
For the public and both boards to deliberate upon.
Yes,
I'm
thank
just
you.
sharing information.
I appreciate that.
I would
Thanks for the
think
question.
VDOT's not gonna, I don't think VDOT will let you do it on the other side either. So then you're not gonna have access to 24, so anybody leaving on a fire call or whatnot is gonna have to go north and then do a U-turn and go south. So,
But you
so
would
this is
think
probably a
it's
better
still
location for them, because they can go anywhere.
Oh, I see what you're
I
saying.
think that, you have by the service work that you've done with Maddox, you're gonna wear a very distinct hat and see some things that other people may not see. So I appreciate your insight and, it's a valuable one to the board and to everybody when, these possibilities are being considered in this. I think it is a unique space for the county in general. It's an intersection of two of our three major roads.
Yeah.
In all of Kingman County. So it's a very important intersection to get some infrastructure pieces right, whether that is public safety and EMS, schools, and, other public safety services.
Clay, I would just ask if we have this discussion, maybe you can have the GIS, where we can look at what we own and.
Sure.
Thank you.
I mean, my concern is if our growth in career tech keeps growing and we expand this place, to me, the likely place for it to go is, I don't know which way I'm facing, that way. I mean, that's just thinking down the road. I'll be long gone. I'd hate to,
Yeah, we'll let you tell them.
huh?
I said, we'll let you tell them that they can't, and they're gonna be sorely disappointed that they can't have it, yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
But
it's.
you make a valid point, yeah,
Yeah,
They probably thought the
they
county
don't
owned
make
it.
more land.
yeah, I'm sure they did.
More land right
don't
next
make
to
more.
where we are.
Yeah, what I'm saying, yeah.
Convenient. Contiguous, I think is a word. Yeah.
Okay. Bring back more information at next meeting.
All right, anything else, Dr. Stan?
That's all, thank you.
Huh?
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Where did I start last month? Yes. Mr. Maddox.
I don't have anything, carry on.
Okay. Mr. Phillips?
Let's see, a few things, starting at Freshburg Elementary, so as somebody already mentioned, parent-teacher conferences are coming up later this week. It's hard to believe, but halfway through the reporting period. And also they're having a family literacy night on the 11th also, 4 to 7. And at Yellow Branch Elementary, I think the only thing she pass along to Ms. Brown again, Ms. Parent-Teacher Conferences. But I want to thank the elementary principals, including Mr. Bennett. They all reached out. I think you guys probably got reached out as well in regards to the report cards, and gave a good heads up. And Keith, sorry I didn't get a call back to you, but I did talk to Ms. Brown and Ms. White, and had a lot of information by the time I got your message. So, but I appreciate everybody reaching out and informing myself and probably other board members on that topic. And Ms. Walshaw did a great presentation as well. So thanks for all the information on that. Thanks for the teachers for the gifted program. That was great news tonight. Donations, I'm not going to name people or places, but businesses and individuals alike. We had some nice donations, particularly in the Rustburg district this past month, so thanks for all those folks. You know who you are. And then Rustburg Middle School Family Partnership Night on the 23rd. National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony on the 11th of this month. And Barry, I'll beat you to the punch, but that Ag Department is sponsoring their annual fall plant sale. I'm sure that was on the agenda tonight. And then at the high school, they had a Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy. Students took part in an inspiring seminar focused on building leadership skills. That was back on the 4th, so thanks to Chick-fil-A for sponsoring that. They got lunch out of that too, of course. I wanted to recognize Coach Gerald Mosley. He has already been recognized at the football game on the 29th for being the Virginia High School League State Coach of the Year for boys track and field. Mr. Mosley and I ran together back in the dark ages, and it's great to see he has stuck with the sport all these years and is continuing to push that forward this year and continuing forward. So congratulations to him. And lastly, congratulations to Bianca Reeves, who's been selected as one of the 2025 Financial Literacy Ambassadors. This award recognizes the top 5 high school students in the nation who not only scored 95% on the financial literacy CERT test, but also demonstrate exceptional enthusiasm for promoting financial knowledge. So maybe she can go give us a hand in how to invest our money in the future. But congratulations to her. That's a great achievement.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn?
All right. School is in full swing, and it has been wonderful to see our events and athletics back in action. We have a BHS home football game this Friday night, so I encourage everyone to come out and support our Brookville Bees. I recently toured Brookville High School, and construction there is progressing. While visiting, I was able to see the cafeteria during lunchtime for the first time since renovations. And let me tell you, finally seeing it full of kids and like the lighting is just right, it was just kind of like, there it is. Nice to see. And it was also really refreshing to see students gathered together, talking, playing board games, and genuinely enjoying one another's company without any phones in sight. Last week, I attended the Laurel Board meeting on behalf of Mrs. Tanner. At that meeting, we voted to appoint Lynchburg City Superintendent Dr. Christy Somerville-Majette as superintendent in charge of the board. We also heard from the Regional Council representative, Ms. Ashley Burks, who shared several legislative items for us to monitor, including House Bill 1806, which addresses emergency planning in IEPs, House Bill 1892, which relates to dual enrollment courses, House Bill 2219, which addresses assistive technology, ensuring these tools remain integrated in classrooms and that teachers are trained to use them effectively. I also wanted to highlight an innovative use of technology happening in our schools. Christina Smith, a teacher at Rustburg Middle School, shared with me how she is using Magic School AI to better serve her students. For her Spanish-speaking students, she uploads reading assignments into the program, not to translate the text, but to identify difficult words and create a bilingual word bank in English and Spanish and definitions. This gives the students support they need while still learning in English, and it saves her hours of prep time. Instead of spending 4 to 5 hours creating these supports by hand, she can now do it in 30 minutes. time she can either spend with her new baby at home or time she can reinvest into creating more differentiated lessons for her students. She's also been using the program to write high-quality substitute plans in just 15 minutes, a task that usually takes hours. As many of us know, sub-plans can be such a burden that teachers often feel they have no choice but to come to school sick. So this tool is giving teachers back valuable time while ensuring students continue to learn effectively. And I continue to look forward to hearing more about the creative and innovative ways that our teachers are going to be using Magic School AI.
That's a great report.
That's it.
Thank you, that was good. Ms. Tanner?
All right, well, I want to thank Kristen for attending for me to Laurel. That date was changed. It was supposed to be the end of August, and it was changed the first week of September. And I was a little busy last week. I completely unplugged from regular work and threw a dream wedding for my daughter. So that was, I really appreciate you attending for that and keeping me up to date as soon as she had finished it all. But Brookville's on its way to getting there step by step. I bravely went through the stands at the last home football game, and just to kind of expecting that I'd have some questions or concerns, and it was actually quite delightful that they were thrilled. The parking lot, lights in the parking lot, they appreciated having those brought in, which sounds like they might be there for Friday night, which will be great. That was the only concern I heard, is when we were going to have lights, and I assured them that they were coming. So I'm glad to hear that they are, for certain. But other than that, they were excited about, they heard the weight room is beautiful. I heard a lot of compliments on that. Of course, that the cafeteria up and running and working well. It's growing pains, right? It's just a transition. So I was pleasantly surprised as I walked the stands that it wasn't a lot of concerns from the parents at all. I think they knew that was expected. We are celebrating our 100th year of excellence at Brookville High School, so we kicked off that our first official home football game that wasn't a scrimmage with that commemorative coin. So that was really, really cool to see Peggy Worley come out and do that, do the coin toss. And so we'll be doing that at every home game. We'll have a special guest that is going to do the coin toss from part of our history at Brookville. So that was very nice. Since we've got Dr. Boyd here, is there anything that you want to update? Because I normally would contact, but I was a little busy last week. I didn't call the administrators. Completely did not do that like I typically do or come in and visit. But I did give you a little bit of a heads up that I might pass it over if you were there. So
We do this on occasion.
I know. I did fill her in. I promise you.
Without putting you on the spot, we would like
I
to
promise you. I told her that we have done it on the spot at first. But the fact too that you are new and welcome, and I think has been extremely well received into our community. So we're very thrilled to have her as our new administrator.
Well, I had a great first day of school at Campbell. I feel like we had a great opening to our school year at Lincoln Road. Of course, I don't know anything different, but I am extremely impressed with our staff and the way that we welcomed our families and students back with our theme of the LRES playbook, and play stands for preparing leaders all year. So it was a sports theme, and which the boys at school love. We had Ms. Vaughn and Ms. Tanner come out. Dr. Ranella brought a couple of buses out. We really wanted to focus on bus safety for our pre-K through 2 students. So they joined us, and Ms. Vaughn braved that hot bus.
Yeah, you got the
So we do appreciate.
They didn't put the windows down.
We are pushing our parent conferences a little bit later this month to align with our book fair for obvious reasons. And we have our first LRES Spirit Day coming up later this month also. So there is a healthy buzz in the hive, and I'm very excited to see where we go this year.
Great. Thank you so much.
And I think that's all I have. I will say that I welcomed a new son-in-law that is a Rustburg grad into our Brookville family. And it was fantastic. And then it's, we can make that joint effort there. It was hard, I thought, for someone who's our entire family runs maroon and gold, and we're loving a little red and black now from this point on. So we'll welcome that. Yeah, red and white. Wow, that's true. That's it shows you. I'm telling you, I don't run Rustburg typically. There was a short time in my professional career that I wore some Rustburg red, but and that is actually the time that the two of them met. So ironically, but I do have a little bit of Rustburg in there. I told them though, however, that any children, it's going to be maroon gold. So we'll wipe that one out, but here we roll. So thank you. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Before I turn it over to Mr. Bennett, because I told him, I said, if you plan on coming, you just stand up and talk about Concord. I know you got plenty of good stuff, and tell us about how it is working in the heat. So I'll turn the floor over to you tell us about the early transition class progress as well.
Well, first of all, we have a couple events coming up. We have parent-teacher conference next week, and at the end of the month, we have our first Title I event. It's going to be Camp CES, tied into what parents said they wanted to see. So it's a little more social, emotional things, and working with some things like that. That's what was requested when we sent out a survey. Honestly, the best thing I can say is the beginning of this year has been phenomenal. I've been an administrator in Campbell County 14, 15 years. It was the best opening I've had, even with the heat.
You say that every year, but.
It's getting better. Maybe I'm learning how to do it all better. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's getting better. It really is. I felt like things went really, really smooth. With our class, honestly, it's gone about as well as could be expected. It's, we're always learning. We're going through different scenarios. We got some kids who are doing really well. I mean, we're already talking about sending some back to their schools. One of the kids on paper, and you see papers before you see the students. They can be very scary sometimes. But honestly, the one student that we're already talking about going back to their base school, we haven't had one issue the whole time, and even including things where we're trying to push him to see where that limit is, so what will be the issue. We haven't. We've seen him grow academically, which we're excited. Still way behind, but we have seen significant progress there. The parents have been, most of them have been very supportive. This young man, his mother said she sees a big difference at home. So I wouldn't say it's easy all the time. There are some things that don't always go our way, and we're shocked. Like, wow, we didn't see that one coming. But overall, they've worked really. I mean, I think it's gone about as well as it could be expected. And like I said, it's a learning progress, and hopefully we'll get a lot better at it. It definitely hasn't had no negative effects on anybody else in the building, and I know that was some of the concerns. Any issues been contained to that room, but even though they've been pushed into classrooms quite regularly, we have had not a single issue in the classroom with them in there. And they're in there with an adult, so it's not like they're just being left alone totally in there, but they're in there with another adult. But they've actually, it was really fun today to watch one of the students, who's the one we're talking about going back. He stayed in the kindergarten classroom almost the whole day without an issue. And so he got to come back to that classroom for lunch, and he's like, well, I'm going to go back to my classroom. He wasn't talking about the small classroom of those students. He was talking about the class he'd been in the rest of the day. He's been pushed in a lot before, but today was his first day. He spent almost the entire day in the classroom without a single issue.
So is there I guess a written plan as to how to get these kids ready to transition back to their
We do have a
base
plan.
school?
I think it's still always, we'll change things as we learn more, but we do have a plan, and like I'll be calling that whole principal, but I was telling another principal is, actually it was Miss Thomas, who I used to be her assistant principal, so we're pretty close. But I said, anytime we get a kid, you should already be prepared for them to come back. It may be 6 weeks, it may be 6 months, we don't know, but you should be starting on that plan, because it depends how that student reacts and what we learn, and some students are going to be easier than others. The student was talking about her come from another school district, so he wasn't in her building very long, so they didn't know the child that well, and we've seen success. I don't think he's ready to go back, but we've seen success with him. And we want to have that conversation so when they go back, and we do have a written plan that Dr. Wilson has sent out to us, and we've all talked about it. Dr. McCormick, Dr. Hale was involved in the meeting. So we do have a plan, that we hope to get them back in. But I want to stay in conversations with the base school and the teacher they're going to return to, so the time they come back, they knew that child really well.
Good.
Is there a minimum stay?
Is there a minimum stay?
Why are you looking at him?
I think the minimum stay is until they're ready, but I think, realistic, we're looking at 4.5 week increments, and that's just to get those.
I mean, you're not getting them in 2 weeks later, you're sending them back.
No. And then the transition itself, we talked about taking up to 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a gradual in, a gradual out kind of thing, because I think to make a successful transition, you have to have all this effective communication between a lot of different folks, so when that kid goes back, he feels at home there as well. So I think even the going back is probably a 4.5 week.
Yeah. Thank you.
That all you got?
That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Did a lot better job than I'd ever do. I would just like to add the successes and the duly deserved awards for Mr. Mosley for the track program at Rustburg. He's been there a long time. He's been tremendously successful. The gifted program, great presentation, new report cards, thank you for that. And finally, last but not least, Ms. Kirkman, thank you for the nice articles that you put in the news about, you know, the STEM and all that. It's really good to read good stuff in the newspaper about us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That's all.
Ms. Parker?
Yes, I'm looking forward to our first student advisory council meeting that's coming up the end of this month. Can't wait to meet the new up-and-coming juniors and see if we have repeating seniors, because I didn't think to ask that, from our inaugural back in the spring. Looking forward to that, as well as the 19th, the VSBA Legislative Conference. The main reason that I wanted to attend that is because they're going to have a school member panel. So I'm looking forward to hearing from students from other schools. And I'm also looking forward to everybody's, I mean, it's been great first start. Everyone's having a lot of fun. September is always really busy, and everyone knows how passionate I am about Constitution Day, and I reached out today to check to see. I never even thought about if we recognized 9/11. So Dr. Hale got back to me and said, yes, we do, and so I'm looking forward to hearing about that in October. You know, how we, just make sure our kids know about some of the struggles that have happened and how our country comes together and, can do some really awesome things and take care of each other, right, when in the face of adversity and all those wonderful things. So looking forward to hearing about that. I also am looking forward to sharing. I have not had a chance to share it. I literally took this class right before I was out of town for a week. But a program, it's a federal program called Respect, and it's about actually encouraging students' religious beliefs in their schoolwork, but not, as a teacher, but encouraging students to not be afraid to express themselves. So I can't wait to share that with everybody. It's more of a PDL thing, a PD thing for the teachers, not like lesson plans or anything like that. But, and the 19th, not only is the legislative conference, but I wanted to let everyone know, how passionate I am about elections. It's the first day of early voting on Friday, September 19th at the registrar's office. And if anybody wants any voter registration drives, please let me know. Be happy to come to school and do any if you need them. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Well, good. I'd like to also just echo the report cards and the gifted program. These are important items, and the presentations were excellent. So I appreciate that too. I'd like to personally thank the Lions Club. Rustburg Lions Club has started their annual vision testing at the schools. I helped at Rustburg High School last week, and just a bunch of old men volunteering, but we really appreciate it. As far as our schools, I'm sorry, let me get, Mr. Harrison graciously sent me an email. Our teachers and students are working hard and improving every day. Our trailers passed inspection on Friday. We're hoping to move into them next week. We're going to have the kids in there next week?
Yes, sir.
That's excellent. I'm going to get down there to take a look at them, yeah. And the playground's been updated. Yeah, so that was a generous donation from Foster's and,
Moore's Electrical.
yeah, so we have lots of new swings. Yeah. And the other really bragging rights for Brookneal Elementary School, and I'm very proud, 96% attendance rate for the month of August. And this is the highest average daily attendance that we have had in August in 4 years. I know that's been a concerted effort. It was a concerted effort. Mr. Bennett and Mr. Harrison have done an excellent job, and it's shown up, and thank you so much. We have our upcoming Rock Your School Spirit event on September 25th, and William Campbell Combined School is hosting Brookneal Elementary Brookney Elementary School night at William Campbell School football game on September 26th. Anything else to add to all that?
Yes, sir. You covered it well, thank you.
Thank you. And then Mr. Cartwright, our middle school football team will take the field today for the first time in 13 years.
Wow.
When they take on Dunbar. So exciting things happening down at the southern end of the county. Last Friday, our yearbook staff spent the day pitching ads to local businesses and successfully secured more than $2,500 in advertisements. Also, William Campbell will host the Campbell County Marching Band Showcase on September 16th, featuring performances from all 4 county schools. And then he also commented on hosting the elementary school kids at their football game. So good job down there. And I think that's all I have. Dr. Boyer, welcome. Thank you for your 2 cents. I won't pick on you too much, but we appreciate that. Anything else? We cover everything? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, close your laptops.
All right, who's getting married?